If you've ever been told you need a mentor, your next question is probably, well, how and where do I find them? Well, the important thing to know here is there's two different types of ways that we can get mentoring help. On one side, we describe it as advice mentoring. This is sort of oftentimes referred to as inspirational mentoring or kind of guidance mentoring. These are the sorts of people who will give you advice that you might need to help you. Now, while those mentors are interesting and certainly can be helpful, more importantly, most of us are looking for what we call super mentors. Super mentors are the ones who create new opportunities for us. They may be the person who helps us get our resume moved to the top of the pile. They may be someone who makes an introduction to a company we want to work at, or they may be someone who helps make a connection to us that gets our foot somewhere that we're looking to go. Now, what's important to understand here is that oftentimes we think about how we find mentors in a very, very traditional way. We think about it as kind of reaching out and saying, will you help me? Now, the challenge is when you ask someone to be your mentor, oftentimes they think you're looking for advice, but what you're looking for is opportunities. And that's why you need to think differently about attracting super mentors. So how do you attract super mentors? Well, it's interesting to understand. We went out and studied over 150 of the world's most successful people. People from Sheryl Sandberg, Oprah Winfrey, Bradley Cooper, Steven Spielberg, Steve Jobs, and beyond. And what we found is that most of them had super mentors who helped them at some point in their career. These weren't people who gave them advice, they were people who gave them opportunities. And what we learned in over 90% of the cases we studied is those relationships began differently. Those relationships began with something small, much smaller than you might think. It wasn't oftentimes about, will you be my mentor, or will you spend time with me getting coached and helping me along the way? Oftentimes, these were very small things to collaborate on something. What we found to attract a super mentor is you need a project. You need something you're working on that you can invite super mentors to collaborate with you on. And that's really what's important to understand is you don't start with the mentor, you start with the project. We'll talk about that a little bit more about how to find the ideal project. But here's what's so powerful. If you pick the right project, something you can work on that the super mentor feels like they can help on, well, the time that it takes to develop a relationship goes down. Oftentimes, these super mentoring relationships start much smaller, with a quick phone call, with a quick collaboration, sharing something along the way. The key thing to attract super mentors is to make it easy for them and powerful for you. Many times this might be a conversation to talk through something that you're working on. It might be an interview for a project you're having, or it might be a way for you to ultimately teach someone something that you've learned. And that's the power of super mentorship. It's not about picking the person, it's about picking the project. A project that will attract the people you want along the way. So don't just try to find one mentor, try to find a bevy of people who can help you. And those are the people that are going to ultimately lead you to those opportunities. They're going to open doors for you and unlock your opportunities as super mentors. The key thing you'll learn about attracting super mentors is you have to aim higher, you have to ask smaller, and you have to do it again and again until these opportunities emerge.